you're looking to dive into topics on how to live a happier, healthier, more fit, and long lifespan, then you've come to the right podcast. Livin the Dream with me, Coach Damian Evans. Together, we will explore the topics on all things health, fitness, and wellness. Together, we will be lifelong learners on this journey to living the ultimate dream. What up, Dream Team? Coach D here, coming at you from beautiful sunny San Diego, and welcome back to the Livin the Dream podcast. And today, we are throwing it back. On Throwback Thursday, we dive into some of the best episodes from the archives, packed with timeless strategies to help you crush your health, fitness, and wellness goals. These episodes might be from the past, but the lessons still hit hard today. Whether it's a mindset shift, a fitness tip, or a nutrition hack, this throwback is here to remind you just how far you've come and how much further you can go. And a quick question for you. Have you ever had one of those moments where you step on the scale after a holiday weekend and you're like, bro, what happened? And immediately your brain starts negotiating. Oh, okay, I'm going to start on Monday. I'm going to really kick this thing into gear. I'm going to do some extra cardio. I'm not eating carbs at all next week. I'm going to punish myself in the gym. And the wild part is, most people think the problem was just that one holiday meal. But it's almost never one meal. It's a pattern. It's a combo. It's a perfect storm that shows up during holidays, vacations, special events, and other events like that. When your routine gets disrupted and your environment turns into a snack buffet, and if you don't know what that storm is, you're going to keep repeating it every single year, event after event. So in this episode, I'm going to break down what I call the holy trinity of fat gain. The three things that almost always show up together, and why avoiding that trio is the difference between enjoying your life and staying on track versus falling into that I lost everything mindset. And then I'm going to be giving you a simple, no stress game plan so that you can fill your social bucket, you can live your life, you can enjoy the food of the holidays and vacations, and you can come out the other side without needing a reset. All right, Dream Team, let's get into the episode. The holidays are meant to be a really happy time of year, a time that you can spend celebrating with the special people in your life. Yet, sadly, it is often a time of year for added stress when it comes to achieving your fitness and health goals. There are many different types of health, right? There's, yes, our physical and nutritional health, of course, but we also have emotional, spiritual, and social health that we should also consider when experiencing the holidays. I like to think of each of these different aspects of health as 5 different buckets that we get to be filling up throughout the year. Sometimes we really focus on eating well and exercising consistently, which would fill up the physical health and the nutritional health buckets. And I really believe that we should think about our holidays as time to fill our emotional and social buckets. It should be more about the people and the experience, and very little about stressing on how much food you should be eating. I think the same thing applies for our vacations as well, and our special events and our parties. Each of these buckets are extremely important to be filled throughout the year, but there is no reason why we need to undo all of our hard work and consistency while filling up these social and emotional buckets, right? So we have to find that balance. We shouldn't have to stress about gaining back all the weight that we worked so hard to lose, or completely derailing our momentum that we've earned. And if we really set ourselves up for success, we can avoid all of this from happening. So let's take a look at the holiday of Thanksgiving, for example. When I was growing up, and even until this day, Thanksgiving is probably the day where I consume the highest amount of calories out of any other day of the year. The average American consumes 3,000 calories for their Thanksgiving meal. And that's just the main meal of the day. When you add up all the extra snacks and drinks, the average American consumes over 4,500 calories on Thanksgiving Day. 4,500. Now, according to the Cornell University study published in 2016 in the New England Journal of Medicine, the average American's weight rose 0.2% during the Thanksgiving holiday. I'll let that sit in. The average American's weight rose 0.2% during just the Thanksgiving holiday. And in the 10 days after Christmas, Americans on average weighed 0.4% more than they did the 10 days before Christmas. 0.4% more the 10 days after Christmas than the 10 days before Christmas. So yes, what we already pretty much knew anecdotally is backed up by scientific studies. The holidays are truly having an impact on our weight. And what's even more worrisome is found in a study done in 2014 called The Effect of Holiday Weight Gain on Body Weight. The average American gains 1 pound of body weight between mid-November and mid-January. Now, 1 pound doesn't seem like a lot of weight, right? But in this study, they notate that, quote, when the average gain across the year was also measured, the holiday weight was the major contributor to annual excess weight gain. And those adults never end up losing that holiday weight. So 1 pound turns into 10 extra pounds of weight in a decade, and that's just from the holiday weight alone. So we're getting this weight added on, and then we're never losing it. That's a big problem. That's just the average person as well, meaning that some people actually gain more than that and never end up losing it. The study also states, quote, the range in individual weight changes was large. However, those that are already overweight and obese gain more weight than those who are at a healthy weight. So those who are already struggling with weight during the holidays put themselves into a deeper and deeper hole. Now, this could be from countless variables, from being educated on the right types of foods that we should be eating, from willpower or food addiction, or just from the support system that you're surrounded by. There could be so many variables here as to why the unhealthy are getting unhealthier. But I personally believe that if we can stay away from what I call the holy trinity of fat gain, we will be able to navigate the holidays effectively by enjoying our time with the family, enjoying the special dishes that come with the holiday times, and not completely derailing ourselves from all the hard work and current fitness goals that we have. If you can just avoid doing all three of these things that I'm about to tell you and avoid doing them at the same time, you should be able to enjoy everything that the holidays are about without being that average American adult who gains and keeps over 1 pound of body weight from just that short holiday period for the rest of your life. All right, so let's go over these 3 things that make up what I call the holy trinity of fat gain. The first thing, number 1, the first part of the holy trinity is obvious. It's eating excess calories. If you eat more calories than you expend, you are in a calorie surplus, and that energy cannot be destroyed or disappeared. It has to go somewhere, and it will most likely be stored as fat. If you eat less calories than you expend, then your body will need to get energy from somewhere else, and it will most likely pull from your energy stores somewhere in your body, and over time, this is how your body weight will lower. Now, there is absolutely nothing wrong with eating excess calories every once in a while. But it is usually paired with the following 2 behaviors. And here's where it starts to get a little tricky. The second part of the Holy Trinity, after eating excess calories, is eating processed junk food with empty calories. These are things that are hyperpalatable and send signals throughout your entire system to just consume more. Where whole foods tend to fill you up and send a signal to your body that you've consumed enough calories to satisfy your physical needs, while of course offering the macronutrient and micronutrient breakdown that helps us to be healthy functioning humans. When it comes to processed food, this food was designed by some of the smartest people in the world to be as delicious and as addictive as possible, because they're doing their job right now to sell as much of their product as they can. That's just business 101. Create a product that your consumer just cannot consuming, and you'll be uber successful. Processed food doesn't offer the same nutrition that whole foods do. And this is where eating excess calorie intake and processed foods go hand in hand. Think about it this way. how many strawberries could you eat in one sitting? And then how many strawberry Pop-Tarts could you consume? Okay, so that might not be a very good example because some people don't like Pop-Tarts, but you get what I'm saying here. Not very many strawberries could you eat in one sitting, but you could eat like a whole box of Pop-Tarts and not feel very full. Or let's go the other way. Let's go potatoes. Potatoes or potato chips. Think about that. French fries. You could eat French fries for days, but how many raw potatoes could you eat in one sitting? I'm guessing probably not even one. And if you did, it'd probably tear you up. I mean, it's not even close. We all know how easy it is to overconsume processed foods and how hard it is to eat huge amounts of whole foods. Like, how easy is it to eat a whole cup of broccoli or spinach? For me, that's super tough to overconsume. I will never have that problem overconsuming broccoli or spinach. And that takes us to the third aspect of the Holy Trinity of fat gain. So, after eating excess calories or processed foods, the next thing that you want to avoid is lack of movement, right? This is all basic stuff, team, but we just don't put it together. Lack of movement is so huge when it comes to putting all three of these behaviors together. Most holidays, we eat processed junk food, going hand in hand with our excess calorie consumption. And then finally, we don't move. And that's the issue. We don't move like we normally do, or we don't even move at all. Let's take Thanksgiving again, for example. A lot of families that I talk to tell me that they celebrate Thanksgiving just like this. They wake up, they go out to the living room, they turn on the TV, and they watch football and basketball, and that's where they stay all day long. And I know this isn't how all families do it, but back in the day, the ladies usually started making and preparing the meal of the day, maybe having a few glasses of mimosas or Bloody Marys, while the guys maybe sat in the living room and drank some beers, and they start their day just like that, sedentary with liquid calories and maybe some empty calorie snacks. And they do this all throughout the morning. And just they're waiting for that main meal of the day, just putting that in their brain as the main focus of the holiday. And then in contrast, others may use the strategy of trying not to eat anything, at all, and hoping that they can save as much room for when the big meal comes. But either way, we often don't move much during these holidays. So we eat more calories, we eat processed, less nutrient-dense food and calorie-rich drinks, and we don't move at all. The Holy Trinity of fat gain, there it is. Put all three of these things together for multiple days in a row, or worse, consistently throughout the holiday season, and of course the weight on our bodies is going to start to compound. Now that being said, holiday weight gain is not inevitable. I'd like to go through a list of 13 things that you can do with your family and friends during the holidays and special events and parties that can help you avoid the Holy Trinity of fat gain and help you experience these times during the year as they should be experienced. Low stress, full of love and fun with the people that you care about the most. So these 13 things will help keep all of your health buckets full and keep you on track with your health and fitness goals. They will help us avoid keeping on the extra pounds that may be gained during the short time of indulgence. So let's jump right in. Number 1, find a way to be active with family and friends. Keep your physical activity routine as consistent as possible. If you normally do a workout on the day of the holiday, maybe you can plan that into your schedule, the 1 hour as best you can. If unable to do that exact physical activity that you normally do, maybe the gyms are closed or maybe it just doesn't fit in the schedule and you don't want to go away from what the family's doing, make sure you find a comparable substitute. Walk, hike, play basketball, football, fun games out in the backyard with your crew. Center an activity for the entire group to do together that is active. Sedentary activities such as sitting on the couch watching TV are common holiday traditions for many families. And I totally understand this. I do the same thing. I absolutely love NFL football and I love NBA basketball. During Thanksgiving or Christmas, I don't miss a single game. But back home, I have a tradition with my family and my friends to go out and play an annual flag football game that we call the Turkey Bowl. Some of you might know this. The Turkey Bowl, it's epic. What we do is when we go to the Turkey Bowl, so many good memories. Back in my small hometown, we would have like 20 or 30 friends all on the same text message thread. This is like 2 weeks coming up until the Turkey Bowl game. We're all talking trash about how each person is going to dominate this flag football game. Yeah, we're like 10 years out of high school, and a lot of these people haven't done anything athletic since the last year's Turkey Bowl. But there were guys that were really good in high school and hadn't played a game since, and it was just hilarious. The day of the Turkey Bowl, we would all gather on a field. Sometimes it would be a nice football field at the high school, or other times it would just be like a random muddy field in someone's backyard. And these fools would show up all decked out in like compression pants and football gloves and eye paint, acting like they were in the league or something. And 2 plays into the game, everyone would be just gassed because they hadn't moved faster than a walk all year. And inevitably, someone would probably end up getting hurt or pull a hamstring or whatever. But like me, I dislocated my finger the last time I played a turkey bowl. But at the end of the day, at the end of it all, we would go our separate ways talking about how next year we would come back ready and be in better football condition, and we would be the ones that would win that year. I would love to hear any of y'all stories. If you have something that you guys do like this during the holidays, it's just so fun to hear these kind of traditions. And I know everyone has their little things. I hear people tell me that they have like a 3-on-3 basketball tournament with their mom, their dad, their uncles, their cousins. That's just something really cool. And it doesn't have to be something as crazy as football or basketball. It could be going out and having like a cornhole tournament, or it could be anything. The point is you can do something really cool with your family and friends that involves movement. You could even plan a family walk or a hike early on that day. I know a ton of people that do like 5Ks right before their Thanksgiving meal. That's awesome. You're moving your body. You can sign up for any type of 5K walk, jog, runs. They have them all the time during the holidays. You could have a horse tournament with your family. Maybe if your family isn't super athletic in basketball, maybe you can still shoot a basketball or do something fun like that. Number one on the list is by far my favorite. You can start something that is a tradition that everyone looks forward to on these special holidays. It doesn't have to be solely focused and centered around calorie consumption. Remember, inactivity may contribute to weight gain, especially if accompanied by overeating. You're trying to avoid the Holy Trinity and getting out and moving during your day of fun. It's just a great way to attack this. And if you want to take it to the next level, after your big meal or meals of the day, take a 10-minute walk with your crew. After every meal, just walk. This is like a pro tip hack, just 101. This is going to help aid in digestion, increase your daily movement. A walk can help create movement in your waste management system, such as your lymphatic system, that takes some of those excess toxins that we are ingesting. And yes, we are most likely putting toxins in our body, especially with our favorite festive drinks. I definitely do it too. I am not above this. And then being able to move your body in is a way of sort of detoxing some of that cellular waste that is super beneficial to helping your overall body better handle this next wave of excess calories. I mean, I was raised out on a farm in Oregon, and my family would always load up on a huge holiday meal, and then we would go take a walk down to our creek, and we would just enjoy the trees and the changing leaves and really have an opportunity to bond without the screens in front of us. Those are some of like my favorite memories right there. So number one, I know that was kind of long, be active with friends and family. Number two, snack wisely. During the holiday season, unhealthy snacks like cookies and Rice Krispie treats and brownies and other goodies tend to be available for you to take as you please. When treats are easy to access, you're more likely to snack unnecessarily. At home, on any normal day, this problem can be solved by keeping treats out of sight or just simply out of the house. So you actually have to go somewhere, go to the store if you want to go eat that. It adds a barrier. However, that strategy is more difficult to avoid in situations that you can't control, such as a workplace or family party. Try to be mindful of your snacking habits. If there are bowls of candy or unhealthy snacks around you, you are more likely to grab from that bowl frequently throughout the day and not even realize that those tiny little grabs add up. If you find yourself munching just because the food is there, just because it's around, and not even because you're hungry, it's best to avoid snacking altogether. You really got to focus inward on this. However, if you are hungry and you do need a snack, opt for some real foods, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. These are filling snacks that don't contain added sugars or unhealthy fats, both of which can lead to weight gain. Now, that being said, I know there are traditions that involve unhealthy snacks. My mom is a huge holiday person. This is one of the things I love the most about my mom. But she really loves making Rice Krispie treats. She loves making me brownies because I love brownies. It's her thing. And she knows that I'm a huge brownie fan. So she does it out of like the love of her heart. And I love her for that. I'm for sure going to have a brownie or two this holiday season. I know it. And that's cool because it's our thing. But those are just empty, processed, extra palatable calories that need to be accounted for with either movement or looking into what my overall calorie consumption throughout the day is. So maybe I substitute it because that's something that I do want, not for health reasons, for other aspects of my health reasons. If your goal is weight loss, however, you do have to kind of dig deep on how bad do you really want that weight loss. A great quote that I heard from a Tom Bilyeu podcast on his Impact Theory podcast was, quote, "Don't sacrifice what you want most for what you want right now." So at the end of the day, we're responsible for what we do and what we hold ourselves accountable for and what we want most. Do you want to be healthy and lose those extra few pounds? Or do you want to indulge on that brownie? I'm not going to judge you either way, but you need to be truthful with yourself on which one you want more. And you need to plan your food consumption around those goals. A really good way to do this is if you don't have the willpower to stop yourself, grab a notebook or use a notes folder in your phone and simply just write down everything that you put in your mouth. Just write it down. Don't worry about including all the nutritional aspects of the food, like the calories and the macronutrients and all of that. I mean, you can do that if you want, but usually that takes a lot of effort. And the more effort that it takes, the less likely it is that you'll do it. But just write down brownie. Just be aware of what you're eating before you shove it in your mouth. This may be helpful. Plus, sometimes you don't put that extra handful of candy corn in your mouth because you just don't want to write it down, or because candy corn is absolutely terrible. Either way, you probably won't eat it. So, number 2, snack wisely. Number 3, watch your portion sizes. When the holidays arrive, it can be easy to overload your plate. Those who eat larger portions tend to gain weight more easily than those who don't. That's just a fact. The best way to overcome this is to control your portion sizes, or even just use smaller plates. To determine an appropriate portion size, you can read food labels and look at the recommended serving sizes listed on the recipes and try to follow that as best as possible. If you can't do that, then just use your best judgment to fill your plate with a reasonable amount of food. There is no reason you can't have a serving of your grandma's favorite stuffing and really enjoy just the flavor that it has to offer. But do you really need to gorge yourself on 5 servings until you feel so full that you could vomit? That's not enjoying the experience. That's just binge eating. And we all know the end result of that. It's just zero fun. So watch your portion sizes, number 3. And that takes us right into number 4 too. Practice mindful eating. People are often in a rush during the holiday season, which frequently leads to multitasking during meals. Studies show that those who eat while distracted are more likely to overeat. This is because they're unable to pay attention to their body's fullness signals. To prevent this, eat mindfully and minimize distractions, including work and electronics. You can also try chewing slowly and thoroughly, which will allow you to better recognize your body's fullness signals and consume fewer calories. A meta-analysis study that was done in 2014 stated that the evidence indicated a slower eating rate was associated with lower energy intake in comparison to a faster eating rate. This is called enjoying your food, not just shoveling it in your mouth. Chew it, taste it, enjoy it before you swallow it. You maybe only get to see this food once a year. Try not to put your fork back into your mouth before the last bite has been enjoyed. You know exactly what I'm talking about, and I do this worse than anyone. I always just shovel, and then I'm like, wow, I haven't even enjoyed a single taste of this yet. It can also be helpful to take a few deep breaths before you start eating. This can induce relaxation and help you keep your full attention on your plate rather than your to-do list. This can also take your body out of fight or flight sympathetic state and more into a parasympathetic state that is much more helpful to your body when it comes to digestion. So try this. Drink a small glass of water, take 9 deep breaths, 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out, before you eat. It's easy. Some families even do prayers, which is a great time for this. And in other cultures, if your family doesn't pray, you may just have to just do this on your own, quietly before you consume. I guarantee that your eating experience will be different, and in my opinion, for the better, if you do this. Several studies show that those who engage in mindful eating practices are less likely to gain weight. A study done in 2015 stated that, quote, the outcomes of this study provides evidence to support the use of mindful-based interventions for obesity-related eating behaviors, including binge eating, emotional eating, and external eating. Given the extent of the obesity epidemic, novel approaches to support weight loss are needed, and mindfulness-based interventions, so slowing down, just being mindful of what you eat, these are poised to complement obesity prevention and treatment efforts. And many other studies in the past 5 years have been done now, and it's becoming more and more evident that mindful eating is super important in our crazy new technological world. So practice mindful eating. Number 4. Number 5, I say this all the time, get plenty of sleep. Sleep deprivation. This is one of the most common things during the holidays, which may help cause that weight gain. This is because those who do not sleep enough tend to be hungrier. They tend to consume more calories, and they tend to exercise less. We have discussed the topic of sleep in depth on previous episodes, so I won't go too far into depth today, but if you haven't listened to the episode we did on sleep, it should definitely be on your next up to listen to. Sleep restriction may increase your hunger hormone levels, ultimately leading to a higher calorie intake. Additionally, inadequate sleep has been linked to lower metabolism. This may be caused by the alterations in your circadian rhythm, a biological clock that regulates many of our bodily functions. There are, in my opinion, 4 huge pillars to controlling your body composition: movement, nutrition, stress management, and I really think that sleep is the largest pillar. If you haven't read the book Sleep Smarter by the sleep guru Sean Stevenson, it's a must read. It's a nice, easy, small book that gives you everything that you need. Sleep Smarter will give you everything you need to know to maximizing your health benefits from sleep. So, number 5, get plenty of sleep. Number 6, control your stress levels. Keeping up with the demands of the holidays can be super stressful. I know it. Stressed individuals commonly have high levels of cortisol, a hormone that released in response to stress. Chronically high cortisol levels may cause weight gain, as they may be linked to greater food intake. Additionally, a stressful lifestyle may cause more cravings for junk food, especially to those who have created unhealthy habits of stress eating, which is super common. Most of us at some point of our lives have done this, so it's definitely not something to be embarrassed or self-conscious about. If you are someone that has created this bad habit and are having trouble not eating excess processed junk food when stressed, go take a listen to the episode we did on how to make exercise a habit and listen how to replace bad habits with good ones. It's all about rewiring the brain to help get you where you want to be. It is important to keep your stress levels under control in general, but especially during the holidays. Because during the holidays, you might be surrounded by all of this unhealthy foods and you're preoccupied with all the other things that you should be doing. Like, I got to buy these gifts. I got to set up for this dinner. I mean, when you're feeling stressed, just take a second to stop, take deep, long breaths, and think about all the things that the holidays bring that you're grateful for. Think about the positive things that you get to experience that many others may not, rather than focusing on the stressful events that may be taking place. There are plenty of techniques that can help you reduce your stress. Some options include exercise, meditation, yoga, and deep breathing, and much more. If you want any more ideas on how to minimize stress, take a listen to the episode we did on the 4 pillars of fat loss, because stress is one of those main pillars. So number 7, moving on, keep meals balanced with protein. Holiday meals are typically rich in carbs, but low in protein. So start with protein. Also start with veggies, then move on to the carbs and the sweets. Anytime I have a holiday dinner with my family, it's a huge running joke that everyone looks at my plate and comments on how I have loaded it up with meats. Now,
I did this when I was younger, before I knew anything about health and fitness, because I just truly enjoyed meats. That's the thing that I like the most. I didn't do it for fat loss. I didn't do it for satiety. I didn't do it for health reasons. I just really loved meat, and that's the way that I feel when I eat it. I just enjoy it. What that did as a byproduct was that I never had room or desire for dessert. My friends and family are always so amazed that I never go back for the pies or the cakes or the jellos. I don't have that dessert at the end of my meal. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have them, but it's always been a thing for me just to pile up the meats and start every meal in a buffet style with that kind of plate. However, on the flip side, something I'm not very good at is probably something that I should get a lot better at is increasing my vegetable intake. I just don't like vegetables that much unless they're baked and seasoned and flavored until they no longer resemble a vegetable. But vegetables can do wonders for satiating you and giving you the micronutrients that the standard American diet is missing and that we probably really need from the increased intake of holiday foods that you're going to be eating. If you don't eat meat, that's totally cool too. There are many types of protein that do not include animal products: lentils, beans, spinach, and kale, quinoa, nuts, asparagus, tofu, broccoli, edamame, tempeh, chickpeas, spirulina, chia and hemp seeds, potatoes, all just a few ideas for you. It is just so important to include some protein with every meal, especially during your big holiday meals, as it promotes fullness and may be useful for weight maintenance. In fact, eating protein with meals may automatically reduce calorie intake by reducing hunger and appetite. Protein is also beneficial for weight control because it increases your metabolism, the level of appetite reducing hormones, as well as requiring more energy to metabolize than something like a simple carbohydrate. So, a study was done in 2015 called The Role of Protein in Weight Loss and Maintenance. And this study stated, quote, for these weight management benefits, you should include at least 1 ounce, 25 to 30 grams of protein in each meal. Another meta analysis of shorter term, tightly controlled feeding studies showed greater weight loss, greater fat mass loss, and preservation of lean mass, which is your muscle, after higher protein energy restriction diets more than after low protein energy restriction diets. They also offered reduction in triglycerides, which is fat in the blood pressure, and waist circumference. These were all reported in these studies, which are all great things when it comes to weight loss or at least controlling your body composition. And in addition, a review of the acute feeding trials confirms a modest satiety effect, including greater perceived fullness and elevated satiety hormones after high protein meals. So, this is just something that you need to consider when filling up your plate for the holidays. Prioritize veggies and protein, and then you can kind of put the cherry on top with the stuffings and the carbs and all that other stuff. So, number 7, prioritize protein. Number 8, moving on, focus on fiber. Fiber is another important nutrient that induces fullness. Some studies show that increased dietary fiber can reduce total calorie intake, which may help prevent weight gain over the holidays. Unfortunately, many common holiday foods lack adequate amounts of fiber, as do most foods in the standard American diet. Do your best to eat fiber rich foods such as vegetables, fruits, legumes, whole grains, nuts, and seeds. And if you want to learn more about fiber, you should definitely check out Dr. Will Bulsiewicz. That's WILL space BULSIEWICZ on Instagram. Or if you just want to type in at the Gut Health MD, all one word, the Gut Health MD, and check out his New York Times best-selling book, Fiber Fueled. Great information on there on fiber. All right, so moving on. Number 9, limit liquid calories. If you know me at all, you know my stance on sodas. I usually have a lot of leeway with nutrition because I think that there can be a time and a place for a lot of things, but I have hard stance on sodas. Don't drink them. I don't like what the companies stand for. I don't like what they offer nutritionally or socially. Unless I have a splash of soda with an alcoholic beverage, which is super rare for me, I just don't drink them. There are such better tasting drinks out there that at least offer something. And if it's because of the caffeine, there are way better ways to get caffeine. Don't waste your calories on soda or even diet sodas for that matter, which leads nicely into alcohol. When you drink alcohol, decisions are impaired. Palatable and high calorie, high processed foods are eaten when drunk to excess. And alcohol is metabolized over all other macronutrients. So your carbs, your fats, your proteins, those tend to be saved and stored instead of burned more often when you drink alcohol. Now, I'm definitely not saying don't drink alcohol. I drink alcohol all the time. It's a part of the social health that we discussed as well. It also tends to make you loose and have fun and sometimes move more in the form of dancing and other things of that nature. So I totally support it in that way. Again, the holidays are more than just a time to stress about the calories, but they are extra empty calories that you definitely need to be aware of. Just drink responsibly. Stop before you get sloppy and understand that the extra margarita you may not need means that you might be missing out on the other foods that there are to offer. So during the holidays, alcohol, soda, and other calorie rich beverages are prevalent, and these drinks can contribute a significant amount of sugar and empty calories to your diet, which can cause weight gain. Additionally, alcohol consumption is often linked to increased appetite and is a risk factor for weight gain. If you're trying to control your weight, it's best to limit your intake of high calorie beverages. Enjoy, but don't overindulge. It's about balance. If you don't think you're able to control yourself, then err on the side of caution, and avoidance might just be the best plan for you. So limit liquid calories, number 9. Moving on to number 10, use a smaller plate. Dinner parties and potlucks are common during the holiday season, but these celebrations don't have to wreck your diet if you eat from a smaller plate. People tend to consume larger portions from bigger plates, which may lead to overeating. Thus, a smaller plate might be an easy way for you to control your portions. And then don't forget about writing your stuff down. If you're going to write your meals down, you're less likely to put a bunch of stuff on that smaller plate and load it up. Number 11, use the buddy system. Many people report success with their weight goals when they have a partner to pursue them with. Try to find a health buddy who has similar weight goals, as this person can keep you motivated and accountable over the holidays. Reach out to friends, family, and colleagues to connect with someone who would be a good fit for you. A strong support system may be, in my opinion, one of the largest positive factors towards you achieving your health and fitness goals. All right, number 12, moving on. Plan ahead. Don't skip meals on party days. Unfortunately, this just makes you hungrier and make worse decisions when the big meal time comes. Eat whole foods up until the event. Prioritize protein, prioritize veggies, and portion control. Planning ahead can go a long way towards preventing holiday weight gain. If you have parties on the calendar, ask what foods will be served or bring your own dish. Decide what and how much you'll eat ahead of time. It can also be helpful to gather a list of holiday recipes so that you don't have to run out of ideas when you need to bring a dish for a party. So bring a list of healthy holiday recipes and make sure you have that at all times. A little side note, when it comes to holiday parties and going out with acquaintances instead of family, eat a healthy whole food meal before you go out. Otherwise, you'll just end up snacking on things when you get there. Also, don't wear loose fitting clothes. Now, I know this might be a little shallow or whatever, but dress up in something that may be more form fitting that you wouldn't want to have a huge food baby sticking out of. It may help you make better portion control decisions when you're there. Drink flavored or sparkling water in between each alcoholic drink. Maybe something with lemon or cucumber, low to zero calories, but something for your taste buds and something for you to have in your hand when socializing. A lot of people at formal parties tend to overdrink calories because they just want something in their hand when standing around and socializing. I totally get it. But who says that there has to be alcohol in every single one of your drinks? And this brings us to number 13. Draw the line. Draw the line. During the holiday season, many people have an I'll start tomorrow mentality, which can end up prolonging unhealthy habits. If you're serious about controlling your weight, it may be helpful just to draw the line, set limits for yourself, and stick to your goals regarding food intake. It's okay to say no to certain foods and habits that don't align with your goals. It's also important to be aware that you're gonna have a slip up or two. It's just gonna happen. If you don't have a slip up or two, you're in the minority. It happens. People often abandon their goals after this happens. However, it's best to simply just move on. Make a healthier choice the next time you eat. One day of unhealthy eating will not derail you. It's when you compound multiple days of unhealthy eating in excess and little to no movement where you become trapped in the holy trinity of fat gain. So I'd like to wrap up this conversation by restating that life is about balance. If you know that you're going to be eating in excess and increasing your fuel that you put in your body, then you need to adjust and you need to move more to burn that fuel. If you know you're going to be overindulging on one day, then set yourself up before and after that day to balance out the excess calories with excess movement. The body works great when you vary up your calorie intakes, but only if it also varies with your movement. So one last strategy that I really like to use when it comes to the holidays is to move, feast, and fast. Move, feast, and fast. So move extra the day before the event, feast the day of the event, and fast the day after the event. And what I mean by fasting the day after the event is just lower your calories to around 50% of your average day and eat a bunch of protein and veggies that day. You have to remember that any fast weight movement on the scale is not body fat. It's water, it's sodium, it's inflammation and all that other stuff. It takes so long to build large amounts of adipose tissue. It takes even longer to make lean muscle mass. So don't freak out if the scale jumps around in the short term. Here's an example of move, feast, fast when it comes to Thanksgiving. So back to Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is on a Thursday. So on Monday, you would eat like you normally do. On Tuesday, you would get a workout in and restrict your carbs to just before or after the workout. On Wednesday, all your meals should be protein and veggies along with another workout. Just kind of, that's your setup day. Then the day of the feast, Thursday, that's your day to do it. Have fun with your family. Make sure that you exercise in the morning and or move in whatever way we talked about. This is going to prime your body to absorb carbs into muscle cells instead of fat cells and just have fun the way holidays are supposed to be enjoyed. After Thursday, Friday, cut your calories to low intake, around 50%, and eat protein and veggies and avoid doing very intense workouts. Instead, just focus on low intensity daily activity like yoga or walking. Or if you go to a group fitness workout, just make that your slow moving, lightweight, low heart rate, active recovery day. You don't want to throw a ton of stress on your body after a huge calorie intake day. This will compound the rebound effect that your body will most likely experience. One of the worst things that you can do after a holiday is completely destroy yourself in the gym just to punish yourself for what you did. This is unhelpful, unhealthy, and disadvantageous to you in so many different ways. Holidays, vacations, special events are more than just calories. Find the balance in life and enjoy the journey. Experience life with your friends and your family the way it is meant to be experienced. Don't let one day or one vacation be the thing that derails all your health and fitness goals. Instead, rephrase your thought process, as this was a time for you to work on one of your other buckets of health. And when it passes, you can continue on the path you had established before. Stay the course. Reach out for help too. Over-communicate your thoughts with your loved ones, and you will find support. If you're having troubles with anything, you know that I'm always here for you as well. Please never hesitate to reach out. And if you have any stories, experiences, questions, or comments that may help the Live in the Dream community, please make sure you share them. We are all in this crazy journey together, and it's not easy. But I am so thankful for you and the part that you play in my journey, even if we've never even met. You're listening to this now, and that just means the world to me.
All right, Dream Team, that's it for today. Please share with me any knowledge, thoughts, or questions you may have on today's topic. I'll make sure to answer and discuss on the next episode. You can ask your questions in the comments section or message me on any of the social media platforms. Also, I would be so thankful if you shared this episode with any of your friends or family that may be able to benefit from today's podcast. I would love it if you could do me a solid and screenshot this podcast and share it on your social media platforms and just write one takeaway, one aha moment that you got from this episode. This will help me know what's really valuable to you, and so I can keep the good information coming. And it also lets your network know if this podcast is worth a listen to them. Thank you so much for listening and learning here with us on the Live in the Dream podcast. We are so grateful for you being a part of this lifelong learning journey. If you have any topics you'd like to discuss, please let us know in the comments or by messaging me on Instagram at CoachDamian_SD. Be kind to someone today. Smile at someone today. and leave every person you come into contact with better than before. Until next time, friends, keep living the dream.